Morning, students. Today we want to look at and concentrate a little bit on some important aspects of phlebotomy. Phlebotomy, as was mentioned in previous sessions, is basically the science and art of collecting, handling, transport of medical samples. But when we talk about the most common sample in phlebotomy, we're talking about nothing else other than blood. Blood also can be collected through arterial punctures, venipunctures, and capillary punctures. Today, apart from all the theory that have already been done or yet to do with you and your class, today we want to focus on a few areas with respect to practical. I want to just encourage us to understand that when a patient comes to us for phlebotomy collection or a draw, the first thing we might want to do, even as we look in here, this is a very simple phlebotomy station. Blood tubes, requisition forms, urine containers, bandage, wet and dry cotton, etc. And you will see, well, we have here Avril, who has volunteered herself today to assist us. But you will see that no matter what position the phlebotomy and the patient is, one arm will be closer to the phlebotomy chair. Students, I don't want you to be biased to think that the arm that is closest to the phlebotomy chair is the arm that you must use. So once a patient comes with a referral form and you have to bleed that patient or do a venipuncture protocol, I want to encourage us to do, firstly, ask the patient to first see both arms. We are not concentrating on the greeting and how are you and welcome to the lab. We are shelving that for now. This is a more practical component. So basically, I normally tend to tell students to try to encourage us looking at both arms of the patient, even before even the use of the tourniquet and the clenching of the fist, which we come into now. So may I see both your arms now? At this point, without the use of any tourniquet and without even the patient clenching her fist, what we're doing here, students, is identifying where there is a greater possibility of a easier, more pronounced or a more accessible vein. So I'm going to just look, and sometimes you might just want to turn because of the skin or the epidermal layer of the patient. We might see veins moving. Now, if you look here, I'm seeing two, but also on the right hand, I'm seeing two as well. But these are looking more pronounced without the tourniquet and without the clenching of the fist. So my bias will be to take blood or to use this arm as the potential venipuncture site. So that's one important thing we want to do. The next thing I want to focus on this morning is the identification of a vein. Forgetting that I've just visually seen a vein, I want to now walk you through the 3 steps which is involved in identifying a vein. Step 1 is the application of your tourniquet. Step 1 is the use of your tourniquet, which I'm trying to do slow, and I'm going to do it over. Step 1 is the application of the tourniquet. Step 2 is asking a patient to make a fist. And step 3 is the palpating of the vein. The palpating of the vein involves a gentle press and moving along from one side to the next. You could even use your other hand. And what I'm seeing here, for those, if you can see it, I'm moving, I'm pressing and gently rolling, and I'm feeling something different here, which is a vein, and I'm also feeling another one here. So this is called palpating. Application of your tourniquet, clenching of the fist, and palpating that area. I have recognized, or I have identified the vein where I will be doing my venipuncture. At this point in time, you will notice I have not put any syringe or needle together. At this point in time, we release the tourniquet, open the fist, and this is where, students, you will now go and have a look back at that referral form, and in your mind decide what blood tubes you're going to use, what size syringe you're going to use, what size needle you're going to use, and put your stuff together whilst the patient is there. So I'm going to retie this tourniquet just for the purposes of us who are, there are different methods, but the end product is the tourniquet must be tight enough to restrict venous flow, but not tight enough to restrict arterial flow. So I'm bringing my tourniquet from the underneath about 2 inches, 2.5 inches above the elbow or the antecubital fossa, and I'm going slowly. And this important point here is where your fingers are important, in that you do whatever you have to do above the patient's arm, above the patient's forearm, so that you, if it's a male, you do not pull their hair or you do not pinch the patient's skin. So you come around and you just pull a little bit, and that's it. And also, just want to share with you now, when you are releasing this tourniquet, do not come mid-air and release your tourniquet like this. If you're not, or your tourniquet was tied in such a manner that it might encourage some movement. If you remove your tourniquet mid-air like this and you've got a needle inside this vein, you can have movement and the needle could pop out. So what I tend to do, and I'm doing it slowly here, I pull with my thumb and my index finger, and I back up with my middle finger or my second to last finger. That means that in removing the tourniquet, there's not much shaking happening in the antecubital fossa. So at this point, I'm going to put my syringe and needle together, and some needles and syringes come as a combination pack. Some come together, all right? Others are what we are familiar with. Syringes come in one packet and needles come in another packet, all right? I want to show you here what is called freeing your syringe. Upon manufacturing, this rubber plunger here comes, and sometimes during transit or storage, it sticks a little bit to the inner bore of your syringe, and you've got to do something called freeing your syringe. Freeing your syringe is just this, and it's actually very tight. Now I have gotten over that, you know, and that's it. Not pulling completely and pushing back up. You just free your syringe right like that. And then now, with the application of your needle, this is slip tip. Sorry, this is lower lock. You turn. Right? You must tighten your needle onto your syringe. Now your needle and syringe is one device ready for use. You put your needle and your syringe together in front of your patient. You make sure that your work area is completely manageable in terms of layout. Now we reapply the tourniquet. Ask the patient to make a fist, and we use our non-dominant hand in the phlebotomy protocol, that is, to ensure that the patient's arm is outstretched. At this point, students, this is where we want to swab. And swabbing is a very important aspect of phlebotomy. You swab in a circular outward motion, right? I'm going to take another swab and do that circular outward motion. At this point, you do not touch or retouch the surface that you have just swabbed. Please note that the tourniquet is still on and the fist is clenched. I remove my needle sheath completely and outward without any hesitation. I make sure that my bevel, which is the slanted portion of the needle, is facing up. I pull the skin. I use my other fingers to straighten, and I pull that skin to tighten the insertion area. And when I've tightened, I very, very carefully and definitively insert. At that point in time, you may see a shot of blood called the flashback. That is what I have just seen, which indicates to me that the needle has satisfactorily entered the vein. At this point in time, with my fingers backing up, I release my tourniquet. I tell my patient to open their fist, and now to every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. My thumb and middle finger is pulling while my index finger is backing up on that syringe, and I pull my sample of blood. ensuring that the needle, the point of insertion where the needle is in the skin or in the vein, does not move. One common error to occur here, and I'm doing it slowly for the purposes of our session, is that students can sometimes press the needle down or also raise the needle up. Are we okay there, patient? All right. So we pull in. When we have gotten what we require, we come simultaneously just over, not pressing down, and we pull that needle out and press the cotton down. We maintain that pressure, or we engage the patient to press. So patient, can you just kindly apply direct pressure on that cotton? At this point, students, when you want to go and insert your needle into tubes, do not pick up your tube and insert them. You can accidentally get stick. So and because these tubes are vacuum tubes, you will see that the blood is being pulled because of the vacuum. When the vacuum has been satisfied, then blood will stop flowing. This, students, is the Venipuncture syringe method that we just completed. Whilst that is being done, well, this is a non-anticoagulated tube, so there's no need for us to mix that other than once or twice because it has a clot activator. We have a look back at the patient to ensure that all is well, and at this point we apply our band-aid or our spot bandages, ensuring that the site has been properly looked after. And even now, you want to be careful. If your patient has to run out after they are finished with you, be careful and let them know they still got to apply some pressure here, because on dropping the arm down and running back out of the phlebotomy station, blood can start to come down. All right, so that's the end of this segment, students. Keep well.